Hi everyone. Welcome to GitHub Satellite. My name is Ashish Chaudhary, and thanks for such a great introduction. And so, since this is a lightning talk, I have to be a little bit quick, but I will also make sure that you understand the concept that I'm trying to convey the message in this lightning talk. So, the topic of this lightning talk is Excel, how you can use a tool called as Scaffold. This is an open source tool developed by Google, so you can accelerate your inner development loop. And as it was explained in the introduction, that I work for a financial services company, Citigroup. I work there as a senior developer. And let's just quickly go through the agenda for this talk. So this is what we are going to cover in this presentation. So first we will talk about application development inner and outer loop, and then we will talk about related to one of the concept is how is the current developer experience with Kubernetes, and how Scaffold can help that improving that developer experience. And then we will definitely talk about GitHub Actions, and there will be a demo how you can build and deploy a Java application using GitHub Actions and Scaffold. And then there will be some references which you can, after this talk, you can go through for your to get some understanding on the topic. And so this is pretty much we are going to cover today. So let's get started. So let me talk about the application development inner and outer loop. So this is not a new concept. The term may look like a bit new, but the way we have been developing application over the years as a developer, it's pretty much the same. So when you start working on an application, or you work on a story item, so you are in your inner development loop. So basically this is where you are you are doing coding, you are building, testing, and verifying everything in your local if possible in your case. And so most of the time we as a developer spend time in the inner development loop. And then obviously when you feel comfortable that your changes are fine, you can share your changes with other. You do a git push and merge your pull request, and then your entire CI/CD pipeline comes into the picture. So this is where your outer development comes into the picture. And obviously you are doing bunch of things there. You are running your integration, functional test, and your sonar checks, code quality checks, and then finally the application gets deployed. So with this being in the we've been doing this for all the years. So how does it changes when Kubernetes come into the picture? So these are some of the steps that we as a developer typically have to go through once we start to thinking about making application cloud native. So like for instance, if you are you have to build your application image, you have to tag it and then push it, and obviously you have to create a Kubernetes manifest. And if there is any change, and you have to manually update in most of the cases your Kubernetes manifest so that it points to the correct image version. And then obviously you have to deploy and test and verify your changes. So if anything goes wrong in any of these steps, and if you see your changes are not correct, or if you have to, so you have to repeat that entire life cycle. So there is so Kubernetes introduced a lot of complexity into the development lifecycle. And related to that is like, so if we as a developer, like how do we feel about the developer experience that we have with Kubernetes in general? So let's talk about the Kubernetes experience that we as a developer feel, whether how we feel while interacting with the Kubernetes in general as a developer. So as a developer, the primary thing that am interested in, I want to build product or add features, add exciting new features to the product or something like that. So most of this is related or revolves around coding. And as a developer, I might not be interested in knowing Kubernetes. So even though it will definitely be going a good skill set to have, but as a developer, do I really need to know how my application is going to be containerized or where it is going to be deployed? So Kubernetes is definitely a great tool, but there are some hurdles that we as a developer need to understand. We also need to understand that developers are not Kubernetes experts. And this is one of a fun way of looking at it. So if someone say that developing application with Kubernetes is easy, so I will respectfully disagree. It is not easy. So no, so as we have seen in the previous slide, so there are lot of additional steps added. So with that being in picture, it is definitely not easy. So we as a developer, we need better tooling so that can help us to handle this lot of boilerplate part of building, pushing, and deploying. So there has to be some better tooling around instead of we going into the reinvent wheel sort of mindset and develop things of our own. So this is where Scaffold comes into the picture, and it helps developer in automating a lot of those stuffs. And so Scaffold is really a powerful tool. It's an open source tool. You can use it if you are facing such challenges. And the primarily the problem that it solves is like how you can handle the workflow of your so typically your build, push, deploy cycle gets automated with help of Scaffold. And as you as a developer, you can focus on the most important part, which is writing code. So you can go back and focus on solving real life problems, and all those things. And so let's get into a little bit into Scaffold, like what is the architecture of Scaffold. So as you can see, Scaffold, the thing that I like most about Scaffold is that it has a pluggable architecture. You can pick a build tool of build or deploy tool of your choice. You may be using Docker in your local, and then you might be using something Buildpack or Jib or Maven plugin for your deployment. And in your local, you might be using kubectl for deployment, and then for your production scenario, you are using Helm. So it has all those features. You can pretty much play with around any build tool of your choice, and it has its own tagging strategy to tag the images. And so let's talk about like how Scaffold works, like what are the things that how it the tool as a tool it works. So if you look at this diagram, so at the bottom, if you see, there are two commands, Scaffold dev and Scaffold run. So these are the most used command with Scaffold. So when you run Scaffold dev, what actually happens is that it has its own file watcher mechanism. So it looks for any changes in your source code, and if it feels that there is a need to compile, then it will do the whole compilation of the application. Otherwise, it has the capability, or it has that intelligence, so that it can not only just sync the file and restart your code, and it can skip the build and push part. So this can accelerate your inner development loop. And obviously, you can not only use for local development, you can do it for remote deployment. Like for if you're using GKE, for instance, then you can definitely use Scaffold run command. So Scaffold run is a sort of end-to-end CI/CD pipeline sort of command. So it runs your entire workflow at once, while Scaffold dev is a continuous mode command, in which it also stream logs, which is a really cool feature. And once your pods are started, you can in your local, you can definitely see the application is get started and up and running. So this is how Scaffold typical workflow with Scaffold is. And this is the Scaffold configuration files, which is how Scaffold understand like what it need to do when you run the Scaffold dev or Scaffold run command. So for instance, in this image, you can see that I'm using Jib as a Maven plugin. So Jib allows you to containerize your application. So you input is your source code, and the output is your containerized image. And then with kubectl, we are deploying. So this is how Scaffold configuration works. So Lights, Camera, and GitHub Actions. So GitHub Actions is, I think, one of the cool features that within the comfort of your GitHub repository, you can create your CI/CD pipeline, and there is a great marketplace available for to choose any GitHub action available there based upon your need. So before I jump to my demo, I just wanted to give a quick understanding about the how GitHub Actions or what are the main components in that. So it's mainly work on the event mechanism. whenever any, for example, whenever someone there is any pull request or push change is done on your branch, then it triggers your workflow. So workflow, typically you have a YAML syntax file in which you define your jobs, and then you have some steps and actions which gets executed. Actions are basically such as whether you wanted to check out the repository or install some tool, like for example Java, and then finally there is a runner, which is your server instance where everything gets run. This entire workflow get executed, and you can see the logs in the GitHub repository itself, whether the actions are successful or not. So this is a really cool way of creating CI/CD pipeline from your comfort of your ID. So next, I wanted to give a quick demo about how you can create CI/CD pipeline with the comfort of your ID, comfort of your GitHub repository. So this is my GitHub repository, and this repository is a Spring Boot REST application, and it exposes states endpoint. And once you hit the endpoint, it displays Indian states and their capitals. Nothing fancy here. So let me just give you a quick walkthrough of the YAML file. So this YAML file is typically in your .github root directory, and then these are some of the prerequisites required. Like since you are deploying to GKE, you need a Google Cloud project and container registry, and Kubernetes Engine API needs to be enabled. And obviously you need to have a GKE cluster, which I already have. And then you need some specific roles for you to be enabled, so that you can push or deploy to using your service account key. Service account key is going to be used as a ID for this deployment. Think of it like as a functional ID or something. So, and this is my GKE cluster. And it's up and running. There are 2 nodes. And yeah, so this is the kubectl command. This is the Cloud Shell environment, and this is my container registry. There is no image available there, but after this deployment, there will be. And these in the environment section, you see that we have defined some secrets, and these secrets are available in the GitHub, defined itself in the GitHub repository in the secret section. And in the job section, as you can see, it runs on Ubuntu latest, which means it's on the Ubuntu machine. And the job, there are steps like checking out repository for master branch, then I'm installing Java. So all the dependencies that are required to make this action work is listed over here. Obviously, I need Google Cloud SDK so that I can communicate with my GKE cluster, and it requires some service account key and project ID, which are injected as secret at the runtime. And then obviously I need scaffold to be run the final command. And if you see at the bottom, there is a scaffold run command. So this will eventually going to kick our entire workflow. And then I will just verify everything with the kubectl get all command. So what I will try to do now is I will create a pull request. And so in this, I'm just going, this pull request will eventually create an event, and I'm just merging my changes from develop to master branch. Actually, it should be main branch. Sorry about that. So I have just created the pull request, and now so these are the changes that I have done. These are mostly the comments I have added, nothing fancy here. And yeah, so I can now safely merge the pull request. So once I confirm the merge, we will head to the actions tab, and you can see that action that the workflow has kicked in. It is based upon the event, and it has started the deployment. So it will step by step do all the steps that we have defined in the workflow YAML file. So it has already checked out the code, installed Java, and so it will do everything what we have described in the workflow YAML file. And so it's trying to download all the dependency required to make this work. And so yeah, just taking its own sweet time. So it's able to connect to cluster. Yeah, so this is the main, so this scaffold run, what it will do now, it will build the image, containerize our application, and also push it to a container registry, to our GCR registry. So it has started the build right now. So it is downloading the Maven dependency, and soon after that, it will create a containerized image of our application. And once that is done, it will push and deploy it to GK using everything using scaffold. So scaffold run commands is doing everything here. So as you can see, the image is created, and as you can see, pods are also started. So we will quickly check whether the image is pushed to GCR or not. Yeah, so image is already pushed, so we are good. I think the workflow is completed and everything looks green, which is really great. And now one of the verification we'll do in Cloud Shell, we will just run the same kubectl command, and this should give us the correct output. And so what I'm looking for is the external IP, because the service type that I have used is load balancer, so that it is exposed for external access. So I will just copy the IP address and just hit the URL, and yeah, so this is the expected output. This is pretty much we were expecting, and this actually completes our demo. So what we have learned is in this demo is that we have deployed the application to GKE cluster, and this is the entire CI/CD workflow we have created just now. So these are some of the references that you can go through after this lightning talk. The source code is available, and one article that you can go through if you wanted to know more about Scaffold, and some Scaffold documentation and Scaffold GitHub repository if you want to go through. And these are some of the way you can connect with me. I'm available on Twitter if you want to follow me for some awesome Java or tech related stuff. And this is my GitHub username and my blog URL, and also available on the professional networking site, LinkedIn. So thank you very much. I'm really grateful for this opportunity, and I wanted to thank the entire GitHub team. So thank you. So I will see you in the discussions now. Till then, yeah, thank you.